Black Clover just took a deadly turn as the Black Bulls sacrifice everything for Asta's return. This is bloody and brutal, and also kind of romantic, but like in a Romeo and Juliet way. And this could be the beginning of a new era, the rise of a new and much darker Asta, a dark Wizard King. So let's talk about it. You guys know how this works. If you enjoy my Black Clover videos and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like and comment right now. It really helps me out with that YouTube algorithm. And if you're one of the over 50% of people who watch my videos but haven't taken the time to subscribe yet, do me a big favor and make this the video that you subscribe and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. We are pushing for 2 million subscribers here on the channel, so let's get it done. Finally, this video will contain Black Clover manga spoilers, so please proceed with caution. You have been warned. Now, just a quick recap. In the previous chapter, we got to see Seke, and that's the only thing that matters from that chapter, period. Alright, I guess there was some pretty important stuff there at the end of the chapter. We saw a bunch of the Black Bulls, along with the Black Bull base in mecha form, heading out to confront Paladin Damnatio Kira and the Guardian Angels under his command. The Black Bulls were forced to undertake this massive risk because Damnatio is trying to stop the ritual that would summon Asta back from Hino country. Finral and the most powerful witches in the world are required to stay behind and conduct the ritual. So that means that the rest of the Black Bulls who are not involved with the ritual directly have to step up and face off against Damnatio. The latest chapter begins with a brief flashback to before the Black Bulls went out to confront Damnatio, with the Witch Queen telling everyone that the Clover Kingdom capital is in serious danger, and that Asta is desperately needed in order to turn things around. Noct adds that the fact that Lucius was so quick to send someone to stop the ritual means that Asta must be vital in this situation, and this only makes their current mission to bring Asta back even more important and even more urgent. Basically, there is no way that Lucius will lose unless the doors of destiny are opened and Asta returns to the Clover Kingdom as soon as possible. Because of this, the Black Bulls have to do everything in their power to buy time for the ritual to be completed. And as this chapter revealed, the Black Bulls are indeed willing to make extreme sacrifices in order to keep Damnatio away from the ritual. Perhaps even the ultimate sacrifice. Back in the present, the Black Bulls are on the battlefield and they are doing their best to counter the power of Damnatio's Scale Dominate. But despite the best efforts of Henry, Gordon, and the others, Damnatio simply uses his Holy Sword to smash apart the Black Bull's base in a single attack, completely crushing the entire building and injuring Henry and Gordon along the way. Damnatio then gets all philosophical and says that scales without a blade are meaningless, just like a blade without scales is merely violence. Order comes about when a just arbiter uses a combination of scales and the blade, and Damnatio believes himself to be that just arbiter. The Guardian Angels then launch energy beams at the Black Bulls, but even though multiple Black Bulls are injured, they also manage to do some damage to the Angels. We see Lux smashing one of them to pieces, and we see all the Black Bulls fighting fiercely without much regard for their own well-being. In fact, the attack is so bold and determined that several of the Black Bulls, including Noct and Zora, manage to get up close and personal to Damnatio himself, which genuinely surprises him. Damnatio is surprised because the Black Bulls are launching a borderline self-deleting assault right at him, and he didn't expect them to be this willing to sacrifice themselves in the face of overwhelming danger. The Black Bulls have been taking the kind of damage that should have knocked them out of the battle already, and yet they are still advancing and still fighting as ruthlessly as ever. Damnatio then finally realizes what's really going on. The Black Bulls are able to take on so much damage because Grey is using her overpowered transformation magic to heal them, just like she healed Gauche after he suffered a mortal wound in the battle against Dante. Only this time, Gauche is using his mirror magic to make a bunch of copies of Grey. So now every Black Bull has a Grey copy behind them at all times on the battlefield, and this copy of Grey is healing them in real time as they attack. It's actually really cool to see Grey using her healing powers again in battle, and it's especially great seeing Grey and Gauche working together. We know that Grey really likes Gauche, and I definitely support this ship, if for no other reason than for little Marie's sake. Anyway, Damnatio realizes that in order to counter this strategy, he has to find the real Gray. And he quickly realizes that Gray is hiding in the form of one of Charmy's cooking sheep thingies. Damnatio proceeds to attack the real Gray with his extremely overpowered sword, but Gauche gets in between Gray and the blade in an attempt to protect her with his body. Unfortunately, this doesn't seem to work, and the blade appears to go all the way through Gauche and then through Gray as well, severely wounding both of them. I would say fatally wounding both of them, but this is Black Clover, so we gotta be realistic. Back at the site of the ritual, Vanessa, Finral, and the others are trying to open the portal as soon as possible, but it's still not ready. Not yet. They need to go faster. As we see the seemingly dead bodies of Gauche and Gray lying beside each other, and as Damnatio declares that this fight is over, we get a brief look at Ryu and Asta back in Hino country. Asta sees that Ryu suddenly has a grave and worried expression on his face, and Asta immediately begins to sweat. He doesn't know what exactly just happened, but he sees that it isn't good. And yet, despite the tragedy that just occurred before their very eyes, the Black Bulls are not done yet. Sacre uses sealing magic to presumably seal Gray and Gauche away in order to prevent them from dying from their injuries. We know she can use her sealing magic for the purposes of healing and recovery. She can seal away injuries and even reconnect limbs, so as I said, this is Black Clover, don't assume that anyone is actually dead yet. As the rest of the Black Bulls refuse to stand down despite being injured, and as they prepare to continue fighting against overwhelming odds, this chapter comes to an end. And man, this is definitely a dark and intense chapter, and the stakes have never been higher. We are told that without Asta's immediate return to the Clover Kingdom, everything will be destroyed, Lucius will win, and all of Asta's friends are likely going to die. In fact, it appears that 2 of his fellow Black Bulls have died already. Normally, this would cause a lot of tension among the fanbase as we wait to see what happens in the next chapter, but we've already seen so many apparent deaths in Black Clover that ended up not being deaths in the end, so I just can't convince myself that Gray and Gauche are actually in danger. Don't get me wrong, I think that having 1 or more Black Bulls die during this arc would be extremely impactful, and it would have a massive effect on Asta's entire character. If someone really close to him were to die while he was away in Hino country, he would feel terrible about not being able to be there to protect his friends. And he would also feel extremely angry at Lucius and the villains for what they've done. Something like this might even turn him into a darker character overall. Someone who is more willing to be ruthless and merciless towards villains in the future because he doesn't want to give them the chance to hurt someone close to him ever again. If Asta eventually becomes the Wizard King, it would be fascinating to see how he would act if he had the experience of losing close friends and comrades at the hands of the villains. Would the way he acts in his position as Wizard King be impacted by this trauma? Would he maybe be more authoritarian because he wants to make sure that this never happens again? Would he be more willing to hunt down and straight up eliminate villains? Would he become a different person from the Asta we know and love? Or would Asta's character turn so dark that he no longer wants to be the Wizard King at all? What if he leaves the position of Wizard King to Yuno while he becomes a Dark Avenger, traveling around the world and hunting down villains before they have a chance to hurt an innocent person? These dark Asta scenarios would be fascinating to explore, but I'll be the first to admit that these are not very likely. Asta is just too pure of a character, and Tabata just doesn't seem willing to kill off important characters whose death would have a profound impact on Asta. What do you guys think? Are Gray and Gauche really about to pull a Romeo and Juliet, or are they going to survive? Is anyone else close to Asta in danger of dying? Could a darker version of Asta be a possibility in the future, or are we just looking at a they all lived happily ever after type of ending? Don't forget to give me your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this Black Clover video and you want to see more in the future, leave a quick like right now. And if you're one of the over 50% of people watching this video right now who are not subscribed to the channel, do me a big favor and subscribe right now and hit that notification bell to turn on all notifications. Subscribing on YouTube is completely free, but it helps me out a lot here with the channel. Finally, you can also hit me up on Twitter and Instagram at AnimeUproar. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, see ya, Space Cowboys!